High school is it's like a mosaic, a culmination of unique pieces of us that form together to produce a stunning image, a masterpiece. But sometimes I think that we all struggle to see how our piece contributes to its beauty, and even the most vibrant shapes and colors can seem dull in their own reflection. In 4th grade, I can remember the adrenaline rush I'd get from knowing that our daily movement break was near. We'd go outside and line up on the sidewalk next to the school, a stampede of young children ready to absolutely book it. And then we'd race. We'd always race, and I'd win. I'd always win. But more than the pride of winning, I finally felt like there was something that I was good at. Because I look back at that shy, awkward 5th grader, and I now realize that I didn't have that something that made me feel special. Until then. The very activity that everyone dreads is the one thing that I look forward to most: running. I started running competitively when I was about 10 years old. Through starting so young and being surrounded by the most encouraging environment and coaches, I gained a love and passion for the sport that has helped build me into the sprinter that I am today. I can remember the 5K in middle school PE class. Even though I'm not a distance runner, it could be any distance and I'd still love it. Well, maybe a little less if it's distance, but I'd still enjoy it. I remember being the only one who was nervous because everyone else was just there for their PE credit, but I was there to win. I remember running right behind the 8th graders for most of the race, allowing them to believe that they had it in the bag. But on the final stretch, I kicked, and they tried to kick too, but one by one I passed them. I can vividly remember their look of absolute bewilderment as I began to pull ahead. No 8th grader wants to lose to a 6th grader. I placed first, although I won so much more than just a 5K that day. It was so much more than beating some 8th graders. It was about saying to myself that I could do something really hard, and then going out and doing it. As I grew older, this fun pastime became like a necessity. I wake up and I think about running. I go through my day and I think about running. I go to sleep at night, and while I'm sleeping, I only think about the one thing that I just couldn't live without: running. Because it's so much more than just a hobby. It's the oxygen that keeps my heart beating. It's the blood pumping through my body that not only keeps me alive, but helps me feel like I'm living. I just need it. I just do. Throughout most of my childhood, I've never had a best friend. Someone who I can just let go with and share my feelings with and just be me with. And life is such a roller coaster, so the anger and the stress and the joy, I've never had someone who I can really share that with. And then I found running, or maybe it found me, and that filled that gap. Because when I run, I can just let go. I can be me. I can express my anger and my stress and my sadness and my joy and everything in between. It's something dependable that I knew would be there for me no matter what. It's funny how it always listens, every time, always knowing exactly what to say to help me feel better. I don't feel so alone because running has become my best friend. Towards the end of my freshman indoor track season, I broke the freshman 355 state records, I won 3 SMA titles, and was ranked 5th nationally in the freshman 55. But above all else, I was making a name for myself through doing something that I loved: sprinting. There isn't anything better than that. And it felt as if I were on top of the world, but then everything suddenly stopped, a freight train forced to a screeching halt. Imagine staring your goals in the eyes and then grasping it, no longer some abstract fantasy but rather a tangible reality. And then imagine all of that crashing down and burning in flames. Because that's what it felt like. At the 2019 New Balance National Meet, I pulled my hamstring, and in a matter of moments, all of the hard work didn't matter. All of the late nights and early morning workouts, irrelevant. All of the relationships that I sacrificed making to give myself more time and focus on training, gone. Didn't matter. It felt like my piece of the mosaic not only shattered, but went missing. Because running and me are one cohesive thing. One without the other just feels like nothing. For about a year, I was consumed by an overwhelming sense of feeling lost. of being depressed, of being filled with an overwhelming sadness and concern for if I would ever run the same. Without that best friend, I not only lost confidence in my running abilities, but I lost confidence in myself. Running is the one thing that I don't need validation for me to truly believe that I'm good enough. And through the grueling and timely process of recovery, I came to realize that setbacks provide an opportunity to strengthen yourself in an aspect of life where you'd otherwise be weaker. I gained so much knowledge on how to listen and care for my body that I otherwise would not have, that I like to say that I'm grateful. Because through this journey of ups and downs, track has become not just an aspect of my life, but my life. Not just something that I think about, but rather the sole thoughts that continuously fill my mind. I believe when you have success in something, all you want to do is get better. So what seemed like a never-ending cycle of setbacks has just become part of the process. Failure is simply inevitable on the journey to success. My name is Andrew Farr, and this is my brief but spectacular take on running and the impact it can have on someone.